delay there. Hopefully you can hear me and everything is okay. There was an upgrade to my streaming software, unbeknownst to me, and a very important button was missing. So I was trying to figure out where exactly that button was. So hopefully you can hear me and everything is working all right. Let me move a couple of things because I had to check my camera because everything was wacky starting out of the gate tonight. There we go. Boom. Sound is good. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, if you've ever been to one of my live streams, this is kind of how it works. I basically do like a podcast. Tonight's issue is, can theme parks survive without annual passes? And what I will do is I will talk to the audience for like the first 5 minutes. Then we'll get into tonight's main content. And once that gets going, I will only take questions from the audience that pertain to what we're talking about. And I will only break when those questions come in. Also, of course, we'll break for super chats because you got to be polite and say thanks to the people that help support the content. But we'll be starting in like 5 minutes. And this is what we're going to talk about. When I was at Epic Universe, I noticed that something felt different. And then it dawned on me, this was a theme park without annual pass holders, which I have to say made the park feel very, very different. And I was wondering, how long can the park go without annual pass holders? Well, just yesterday or a day before, they started putting a survey out asking their folks, they're already East Coast annual pass holders, what options would they like to see to add Epic Universe to their annual pass program. So that'll be what we talk about tonight. But first, give me 5 minutes to say hi to all my friends that showed up that are here with me live, and then we'll get going. And so sorry with the rough start. I literally sat down to go, and I'm like, where's the button that says start streaming? Oh, Streamlabs decided to hide that on me. Actually, Kat is in the room. So hopefully we'll get lucky and Kat will show up and do his thing. So he's in here, but right now he is focused. Right, kid boy? You chewing on that bag? Or you want to come up here and say hi to everybody? Come on. Come say hi to everybody. You can do it. Yeah. Come on. We'll see if he comes up or not. How's everybody doing this evening? So sorry for the... Is the arm tattoo new? No. My arm tattoos are not new. Rocky says, we've wondered. There he is. There he is, walking across the keyboard as always. Love that that's his favorite spot to walk. Make sure that I don't have YouTube selected so that he doesn't end everything. What are you doing, bud? You've been absent a couple of weeks. Why is the keyboard the only place? Let's do this. Let's just... There you go. Nope. Of course not. Why be on the bed that I bought you? Typical cat stuff, right? There you go. Walk right across the keyboard. Perfect. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. We've wondered about going to Walt's house for a while. Absolutely on our must list after watching your video. Yeah, I was fortunate enough that I bumped into Dusty Sage, who runs Mice Chat, one of my absolute favorite reads on the internet. And I saw him over at Disneyland last week when I was filming. And I said, hey, I saw that you're back to doing tours over at Walt's house, because they don't do them all the time. They like sometimes will periodically put them on pause because it is still an active house that somebody owns and lives in. And he's like, yeah, I'm back to doing them. He's like, you should come by on Saturday and check out one of our tours. And so my new mindset, thank you, Dai. I'll be with you in just 1 second. My new mindset is like, when people give me opportunities to not be like, yeah, I'll do that one day. Like, no, do it right away, because time is very, very short. And so me and Hammer from VG and Chorus Glass, we went out there on Saturday, and all three of us were just blown away at not only the house and how special it felt and how it gave you a connective tissue to Walt, but really what an amazing one-man show that Dusty performed. So it's not like a hokey tour where it's like, you know, a cringy tour guide that has all these dumb jokes and stuff. It's actually like a really cool experience. This is only for my cat membership. Well, Cat appreciates it, don't you, Cat? He's laying on the floor now because why lay up here? Why lay up here? Thanks, Dahi. I appreciate it. And I also had a super chat before I got going tonight, which was from. Oh, did I also get one from Jesse Adventure? Thank you, Jesse. Sorry, that's a bad S. And then I got one. I thought I saw one from somebody else, but maybe. Oh no, that Jesse one was from last week. Everything is so messed up. All of my panels changed since the last time I streamed. So, not that I don't appreciate Jesse, but that's not on there. That will only confuse me as I get going. Okay. Could have swore I saw another one, but maybe I was looking at something in the wrong spot. So this is, do you guys want the pin count, or should I hold back on the pin count for when I do a video about the pins? I'll give you a pin count if you want one. All right, we can check in on the pin house later. Let me just say hello to, what's on my shirt? Oh, it's a pin. That's, you ever heard of a pin? It's oh, there it is. It is a Nightmare Before Christmas pin that I've gotten addicted to over in Fantasy or Frontierland. They have this thing that's like drawers and they have numbers on them, and you just like call out a number and then you get the pin that's inside the drawer, which is fantastic. It's like gambling, but I don't care about what the results are. All right, pin count as of tonight. Let me go to my desktop where I keep the photos of my pin collection. Pin collection is currently at, tonight, this is my 11th pin, which if I do the math, at $15.51 to get into the pin game, divide that by 11, I'm at $1.41 to rent each of my pins. Yes, pin count all of them. Ignore me. Jay Harris is absolutely right. Pin count all of them. JT Kell was like, you should have people guess. That would have been smart. All right, let's jump into tonight's topic. Sorry, where is that at now? Sorry guys, everything got changed and I'm a little bit confused on where stuff's at now. Where does it tell me how long I've been streaming for? That's an important thing to be able to see. Sorry, guys. Just everything kind of got shifted around. So you're going to see me looking between all three monitors trying to figure out what in the hell's going on. All right, let's get started. So as I said earlier, I spent 2 full days at Epic Universe, and I instantly could realize that something there was feeling very, very different. And, you know, not bad, but just felt different. And then I think after I'd filmed the 3 videos and I was sitting on a bench having a Trenta cold brew, extra ice, light splash of cream. I was sitting there on a bench getting ready to do, I had the Harry Potter portal left to do, and I also had the Dark Universe. Those were the 2 I was saving towards the end. So it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the day. I've done Isle of Berk, Super Nintendo, and I've also done the main thoroughfare. I had just finished doing the actual Celestial Park, like sort of the spine. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? This park doesn't have annual pass holders. And then I was like, oh, that has definitely made the park feel different today. Like very, very different without pass holders. And so I was wondering, how long do they let that go? And, you know, when I was there, the park hadn't been opened up for a year yet. I believe we're getting ready to hit the 1-year anniversary coming up in, I think, in the next month or so. And lo and behold, now there's a survey going around where Universal is contemplating how they might bring in annual pass holders to the new park. And so what's interesting to me is when I looked at their survey, it's like they're not exactly trying to figure out the perfect pass holder program. They're trying to find a way, I think, to manage the expectations of the pass holders that they already have. So tonight, I wanted to kind of get into a bigger question. Can theme parks actually survive without annual passes? And it's going to be kind of a debate because there's two sides to the debate on the guest facing side. There's people like myself that are an annual pass holder and enjoy all the privileges that come with those. And then there's some people that aren't annual pass holders that despise the annual pass program and culture. And I know this because I've been creating theme park content for the better part of like 7 years. And I've read thousands and thousands of comments in my 7 years. And there definitely are people that do indeed despise pass holders and the whole pass holder program. I've been called a pass holder more than once. And I think on one side of the fence, you have the fans that are kind of split on whether APs are good or bad. And then you actually have the theme parks kind of also despising annual pass holders, but then also not despising the constant revenue. So that's going to be what we're talking about tonight. And I would love to see in the chat during this part of tonight's program comments that are tuned into this, because anybody who's watching this on delay, they not only want to hear my opinion, they want to hear yours as well. So if you want to tell me that you're going to the park and you hope to see me, that's fantastic. I hope that I see you and we do a pin trade, but let's save that till after we get done with tonight's portion. So here's what I felt at Epic Universe, that when I went there, I was realizing there was a mindset difference. And that mindset difference was very clear. Everyone who was there paid to be there, rack rate for that day. And even myself, I was filming 5 videos in the one day. And then when I went back with all my friends, I was very intent on filming our annual pass, or not our annual pass, our, their skip the line ticket versus a regular ticket and experience. So each day I was there with intent. And it just made me move faster and go through things at a little bit more of a brisk pace. And as I was moving faster, I realized that everyone around me was also moving faster. There was a lot less just kind of like hanging out, low and slow, people that are just kind of there to soak in the vibe. It was very, very clear that everyone around me, just like myself, had intentional energy. They were moving from point A to B to get something done and to try to do it as quickly as possible. Because with Epic Universe as our case study tonight, there's only 11 attractions. When I was there, 1 was down, so there was only 10. And not all 10 attractions will apply to every guest. And that means that the wait times are very, very long. They don't have all of the restaurants and food services open yet. So it's kind of hard to figure out where there's something that you want to eat, something that fits kind of like the type of food that you're looking for. And so everybody was just moving in a very, very intentional way. Instantly, I realized there was no locals vibe. And what was really missing is the park didn't feel like a hangout. It didn't feel like it had a culture. It felt like a place that was very transactional and everybody had come to an event. And that feeling is very, very different than the Disney parks and even different than Universal Studios Hollywood, which I am a proud AP for. So it was very, very different. John says, I think parks would make more money without the passes. See, there's somebody who's on the other side of not necessarily liking the AP. So if you are an AP holder, I have news for you. There are many people that despise the program and in one way or another, kind of don't think it's a good idea. Now, John didn't say that he hated it, but he did say that he thinks there's an upside without the annual pass program. I would say to John, they wouldn't do something if they thought that it made them less money. And then Rich says, wish we lived closer to make annual passes justifiable. And see, I think there's a whole other bucket of people that have maybe a little bit of annual pass envy, and not that, I want to be these people, just I wish that I lived close enough to be able to go to the park that often to where I could get in the system and not pay a rack rate. So thank you guys for the questions, for staying on task with me. So here is what Universal is testing. I want to kind of give you guys just a very, very broad overview of what they're looking at, because I think that this really does play into the whole mindset. Can a theme park survive without annual passes? Because they've gone a year, but how much further will they go? And to John's point, they'd make more money without it. I kind of feel like the only reason why Epic is opening this lane is because they feel like they could make more money with it. So here's what they have. Every option that they're putting on the table does require reservations. Every option also requires limits, like how many you can hold. And every option also does add a level of friction. No just rolling in after work, or, you're in town on business and you go, you know what? Seminar got done. I think I can go dip over into Epic and just take a quick lap. They're not doing any of that. And I'd have to think that they're probably super excited that Disney created the over complex magic key system, because it now kind of set an industry standard that they can just kind of slip in the back door and not really get called out for doing stuff that would have been very called outable, like, just 5-6 years ago. So here's a vague not a vague, but just like, I'm not getting into every detail, but here's a broad overview. That's a better way of putting it, of each of the options. So option number 1, you commit to a multi-year pass. They're looking for you to take your current annual pass and sign a 3-year contract to get Epic access. But every trip will still require a reservation, and it also comes with limits such as blackout dates and, other restrictions. So option number 1, 3-year deal. Option number 2, you can upgrade your current pass, but you have to go through a very strict multi-step reservation system every time you want to go. Option number 2 is very, very similar to the Magic Key program that's at Disneyland, that unanimously across the board, anybody who's a Magic Key holder hates it. Now, people that hate annual pass holders kind of like it because they like to see other people suffer. And I've been privy to a lot of that kind of like bizarro, like, well, if I can't have it, I don't want it to be nice for you type of stuff. So that's kind of an interesting thing to observe. Some people can't be happy for others. Option number 3, you skip the pass entirely and you just buy a small bundle of visits with limited times that you can go. So basically what would happen is for every 3 months, you get 3 visits to Epic Universe, but they can't all be in a row. So you get 3 days a month, or 3 days every 3 months, or a quarter. So basically over a year, you could go 12 times. If it sounded like I was having a hard time explaining these, it's because I was. Because just trying to make them like easy roll off the tongue is not very easy, because they're definitely trying to add in that key word that keeps coming up in the theme park industry, friction. So this isn't about giving their current pass holders like extra access. What it's about doing is saying, we're willing to give you what you want. We're willing to take more money from you. But most importantly, we want to control how you show up. So let's see what the chat has to say. Remy says, what must one do in order to get the survey? I'm assuming be a East Coast already universal pass holder. That's what I'm assuming. Pandora says, AP may spend less per visit, but they go more often. And more importantly, because they go more often, they participate in all the new stuff, new foods, new merch drops. Like, they're the ones that line up and get that popcorn bucket, or they're the ones that line up to get whatever that new is. So they're also good for constant cash injections, because most people aren't going to book a cross country or cross state or cross city theme park ticket where they're paying rack rate just to show up to buy that day's $50 popcorn bucket. I mean, they've already paid $40 to park, $200 for a ticket. The popcorn bucket just seems extraordinary on top of it. But when you fool somebody into making them think that their theme park visit is basically free, then it's like, well, I mean, I could just pop down there after work and get the popcorn bucket, one for me, one for Sully, one for my homie, and then I'm in and out. That one person didn't ride any rides. They didn't clog really anything other than maybe Main Street. And Disneyland walks away $150 faster or richer for somebody that was maybe in the park for 90 minutes. So there definitely is a lure to people that just want to pop in and pop back out. But let's talk about why this is happening, because there's already a nice debate going on over here about, do they make more money? Do they not make more money? Like, the AP debate goes on and on and on. And tonight I just want to kind of talk about, like, is there a science to where theme parks need this part of the business to keep going on? So let's talk about the business reality of it all, because what APs are 100% predictable revenue. Like, it gives Universal or Disney the availability to know that within a 12-month range, exactly how much money is coming in monthly. And there's a reason why Disney in particular doesn't add any sort of a percentage to the monthly payments, because they want to make that monthly payment as stress-free as possible, because they love looking at their line sheet each month and knowing how many like millions of dollars are coming in from annual pass holders. And sometimes that money is free money. For example, Beth has had a lot going on right now. Disneyland's not exactly where she wants to be. So we're paying for the top tier Magic Key for Beth. She was there one time in January, no times in February. She will be there no times in March, and maybe we'll be ready to go back in April. So for example, Beth's, I don't know what we end up paying, like $150, $160 a month, whatever the hell it is. That's been just free money for them because she hasn't redeemed that. And she's not going to go so many times on the backside of her annual pass where she's going to make up for that. So it is a lot of predictable revenue, and in many times it's free revenue. But as it was said in the chat, they do spend less per visit, and they do take up capacity, and they do change the behavior of the park. And this behavior part is kind of depends on the individual, because some of the APs that go there really do treat the park like church. They respect it. They're a part of the community. And I would argue that they make the experience better for the rando guest that just rolled in for a day, because they love to help, they love to be a part of the magic, and they love to make things better. However, there are some people, when something is perceived as free or it's already paid for, they're not going to respect it. They're going to take advantage of it. I'm talking about the people that love to recite the lyrics to the Haunted Mansion. You know what I'm talking about. So it creates a contrast, though, in the parks. You do have the tourists who's on a mission and just spending money the entire time, and particularly if they're staying in a hotel, because now they're not only paying for the theme park ticket, they're probably buying all 3 meals that day, all of their snacks, and then laying their head down on a pillow in your overpriced hotel. And the AP member is a constant cash flow. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, but when they are there, they're not there all day most of the time, and they do spend on things that really help kind of drive up the margins of the park, because they are your food and wine member or customer. They are your popcorn bucket, like your specialty novelty type things. Like, you can sort of herd them into the different buckets where you want them to spend money to drive up the line sheet. So here's how it kind of gets said the best, is that people that love the park the most are the hardest to scale. And if you think about it, it's kind of an interesting thing where, like, we have a core part of our customers that love this so much that we have to give them more than a ticket. But if we give them more than a ticket, how does that mess up our other operations? And how do we nurture this relationship so they keep loving us, keep making us one of their primary places of spending, and not get bored because they can't go enough to get that hit and they end up falling in love with something else? So it is definitely a very, very interesting way. Dahi says, always love these talks. If you're talking about this talk, then I appreciate you. John says, this bucket stuff is crazy to me. I mean, business does definitely think about how to put customers in different buckets. They want different buckets to earn different amount of revenue. And it is definitely like a mindset of corporation stuff. All right, let's move on. So here's where it gets into a little bit of a culture clash, because there is 2 different sort of mindsets based on the scarcity of how a customer acts when they're in the park all the time versus a customer that's in the park one time or not enough according to their love. So one of the things I can definitely say that I've witnessed, and I witnessed an absence of this when I was at Epic, is that annual pass holders definitely create and build a culture inside of the theme parks. Now, if that's a positive culture or a negative culture, that's dependent on the theme park and how it nurtures their relationship with their locals. But I will tell you that there have been nights, like pre-pandemic, when Disney used to do things where they would have like exclusives for their annual pass holders. And I remember getting to see an advanced showing or an AP only showing of Paint the Night. And it was one of my absolute favorite nights ever inside of Disneyland. And I've been now well over 1,000 times. I also remember when they used to do the Christmas nights for annual pass holders, where according to the first letter of your last name, you qualified for different nights, and the only people that were in the park that night to see the Christmas parade were annual pass holders. And it really was a magical night because you knew you were there with your tribe, you knew that you were there with your people, and you could definitely have like an amazing time with all the people that love the park the way that you do. And that's not saying that single ticket people don't love it like annual pass holders. They love it in a whole unique way because it's fresh to them, it's special to them, but there is something about being with the people that not only share like the same region that you live in, but just a commonality of shared experience with people that live not too far away from you. Like, it's just why it's awesome to go see your favorite sports team play a home game. It's just that easy. But there is the crowd experience, and where it definitely gets frustrating for people that are coming in from out of town is when they're paying the full rate and they feel like the park is crowded with locals, people that can go there any day of the week. There is a natural, fully understandable sort of like angst on like, oh, I'm so glad this family decided to show up and just clog the pipes while me and my family are trying to get through here as quickly as possible. And one of the downsides of going to something that's special too often is it does ruin a little bit of how special it is. So there is a thing where annual pass holders sort of normalize some things that should be way more special and are indeed special to the out of town guests. And again, it does create a little bit of friction. But when I was at Epic Universe, I did notice that the thing that kind of felt like it was missing was a level of passion, was a level of like, we're all in this. It felt very, very transactional. And if I'm being completely honest, it was the first time in a long time that I'd been at a theme park where it felt more like I was at a mall during the holidays than at a theme park where people were just kind of running around having a good time. There definitely was a stress and a pressure there, and there was a lack of magic moments. And I think that somewhere the balance of people who are there just for the good times and people who are there to get shit done have a cross path where there's some sort of like natural synergy that takes place. And I have to say, Epic Universe was missing that synergy. Widow Girl says, imagine Disneyland leadership treating the annual pass holder like a valued partner instead of an inconvenience. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely an interesting vibe sometimes that it feels like as an AP from certain employees and certain management that you're kind of a burden, but you're also the burden that makes the place extremely profitable. John says, I think that the feeling is due to the lands all being themed on one IP. I mean, I wouldn't blame the theming on the way that it felt when I sat next to a family on a bench that was eating an ice cream cone, that they were literally just like, hey, eat these ice cream cones really, really fast. We're running out of time. Like, I don't think that had anything to do with the single IPs. I think it had to do with the fact that they were all paying full rate and they wanted to get as much stuff done as possible. And just like, you know, as I saw people navigate in the park, it was kind of like a business get things done, and it didn't seem to really matter what the intellectual properties were whatsoever. I mean, I would blame it more on the fact that the park doesn't have enough rides than what the rides are themed after. But I know a lot of people want to make single IP the villain for every single thing, so you're more than welcome to have that opinion. This is interesting. Vinton says, my friend that went to Epic said something very, very similar. OC Cheer Mommy. Chapek tried to kill the AP, and he's not around much. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. You are not wrong, OC. Not at all. Nathan says, when I had a pass, I paid to see the AP preview of Light Magic. Oh, whoa. That was a bad decision, but I did get a pin for it. Oh, thank you for taking care of my pin. I appreciate that, Nathan. Okay, so here's kind of the big question, right? Do the parks need the annual passes? Do they need them? Or is it greed? Because, great point here about Bob Chapek from my homie OC Cheer Mommy. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you also, Nathan and Daihi. Disneyland was out of the AP business, baby. They were out. So was Walt Disney World. They were out of the AP business. They had the clear break off from the pandemic. Thanos snapped, and I don't know why. People got so bent out of shape in my video that I snap on my like fourth finger. People are like, you're supposed to do it here. I've always snapped on that finger. I don't know why that was such a big thing. But Disney had a chance to completely cut ties with annual passes. They sunset the program. Remember that? And they brought it right back in. And they keep managing it. And as the park is getting lower and lower level attendance, they keep letting more people in. Like, remember right after the pandemic and everybody was like back and there was all this travel regression, like, oh, we don't need too many of you. We just need a few, because they had so many people that were buying regular tickets. But as regular ticket people were like, you know what? I've been once, I've been twice. Customer service isn't what it was. Park's not as clean as what it was. All the rides are breaking down. I think that I'm good. Then Sundays was like, hey, we've got room for more APs, baby. Let's go. Epic Universe, first year. We don't need annual pass holders. We're not doing it. Single day tickets only. And look what's happening. They're trying to find a way, a synergy, to bring people over into their annual pass program. Ribby. Remy says, Universal implementing reservations. What's next? Per ride express passes. Universal is becoming as complex as Disney, and that's because they've all realized they can get away with it, baby. What we're talking about is these theme parks have been determined to be absolute cash cows. And the way that it works is you get people in the gate, you get them hooked on it, and then you make it feel as cheap as possible. Hey, saw you bought a 3-day ticket, girl. What do you say you just take that 3-day ticket, bring it over this booth, give me a little bit more money, and you and I, we can start dating. You can come all the time, except for 2 weeks around the holidays, all of July, half of August, most weekends. But other than that, I got plenty of room for you, girl. And you know what? Give me a little extra money. I'll even let you park your car in my garage. So it's very, very interesting how like they understand that creating margins where there wasn't margins are the way to profit from these theme parks. So getting away from lightning lanes and all the different add-ons, are theme parks better without them? Now, from an operational perspective, I'm not going to lie, as an annual pass holder for both Universal and Disney, all Disney parks in the US, I'm not going to lie. I think just like if it was one line, no lightning lane, no express pass, if it was one line, the parks would go smoother. And if everybody bought an individual ticket, the parks would also go smoother. But they're not willing to let go of that revenue. And they're also not willing to let go of us. If you are an annual pass holder at any theme park, think about how much you go. Think about how that annual pass makes that park a part of your overall entertainment strategy. Now think about if you had to pay every time you went, how much less you would go. The less you go, the more time there is for you to get involved in other things. Maybe you get into mountain biking, hiking, go back to skateboarding, rip your leg, stop skateboarding. Like, there are so many different things for you to do, and it's a big world out there. But as we've seen from the success of, media outlets like MiceChat or WDWNT, there are people that not only go to the parks, but they consume the content about the parks. They essentially read a newspaper every day that brings them into that world so they know all the new things that are happening, because there's a constant news cycle. If you go over to YouTube, there's constant entertainment where you can watch creators like myself and many of my peers constantly take you into the parks, giving you new things to look out for, teaching you new things that you can learn when you go to the park, strategies, history, like all kinds of bizarre different ways, but essentially keeping a connective tissue between you and the park. There is a whole ecosystem that has come out of the annual pass program. And what that ecosystem does is it builds the park's culture. It builds the park's audience. And it's made the parks in a golden renaissance of being more popular than they've ever been in their history. So why is Universal doubling down on theming, doubling down on theme parks? Because it's harder than ever to sell a movie ticket. And movies are very, very high risk and sometimes high reward, but not always. But you know it is good return on investment? A theme park. Because it has tens of thousands of people in it every single day. And the more ways that you can charge for that park, the more money you will make. And even if you can figure out a way to charge people for going to the park and they don't show up, you make even more money. So the theme parks would 100% operate and be a better time without annual passes. However, they wouldn't make as much money. So even though Epic is a premium product, it wasn't a community space. And Epic is realizing that they need to put the community in to make it a community space and to also get to that next level of earning. So Epic Universe still trying to stay controlled. They're still trying to get the best of both worlds. We're a theme park where everybody's down to do business, but they're also trying to create an environment that feels like home. So to me, even though the parks would run better without them, I don't think the parks want to let it go, because the reason why the parks are there is to hold up the other sectors in these failing entertainment companies. So that's my thoughts on it. Let's hop over to the chat. I got a couple of people to say hi to, but that's what I wanted to break down and talk about tonight. So if you watch this on delay, thanks for showing up and having faith in one of my live streams. Now I'm ready to hang out with everybody for the remaining time we got. But first, I got to say hello, Jedi Sparky. Jedi Sparky. Cat, are you still in here? I thought you were going to hang out. Jedi Sparky, completely off topic. Oh, perfect time to come in. I need to let you know how much joy your European videos brought to me and my wife during that time. It was amazing and a good conversation here. Dude, the European trip was a trip of a lifetime, and it was so fun to take everybody with me. Like, that was such a great time, and vlogging it and trying to see if I could kind of take this on the road and out of the theme parks was such a great experience. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate anybody who watched the European videos. And good news, the Tivoli Gardens video is evergreen. It's still getting viewed like 100 times a day, which is such a great sign for getting to go out on the road and do more of that stuff. Walking. I'm walking. Thank you for the super chat, Sparky. I appreciate that. Walken, awesome meeting you yesterday. Maverick says hi. Also, APs are vital to the park, in my opinion. I met Walken yesterday. I'm going to assume that I interviewed his son, and you will see him in Friday's video. You will see a cameo that is one of the best cameos ever, when I interviewed possibly the youngest YouTuber. And it was funny because I was doing a video about Buzz Lightyear, and it has a lot to do with kids and attractions designed for kids. And then a kid just kind of wandered into my video. So nice meeting you and your family. Thanks for stopping and taking a photo. I appreciate it. All right, now I'm just gonna rip through the comments, but I gotta let Kat out. Are you already out of here? Where are you? Where did you go? I don't remember opening the door. Are you stuck someplace? Are you in the closet? Friends, my co-host might be lost somewhere in the room, and it's not a big room. Are you out in the hall? Did I let you out? I must have let you out. I did let you out. I don't even remember letting you out. You're so good at it. Iron Souls. And the live stream crashed. Awesome. Even in Brickey, I think if there wasn't APs for park tickets, prices would go up. APs in some ways subsidize ticket buyer and suppress pricing. I think that's actually a really good point that I didn't add to the video. So thank you so much for adding that. I have such an intelligent audience. I love having these conversations with you guys, and you're absolutely right. I think it does do a little bit of subsidizing, and I think it also really kind of like makes them think of programs where they can make more money, more margins just on trying to cater to an audience that they know will absolutely, support what they're getting into. We found Cat. Please don't step on the keyboard, dude. Please don't step on the keyboard. That was a really great question there, Iron. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see here. He's rubbing on this. Aaron says most theme parks would fold without AP programs. And they know that. Otherwise, Six Flags wouldn't be seeing... Oh, you guys getting that sweet cat butt shot? Otherwise, Six Flags wouldn't be selling APs for less money than a single day plus parking. Yeah, some of these regional theme park AP programs are insanely cheap. Like, insane. Yeah, you guys got some serious cat butt. Y'all didn't know it was going to be sexy tonight. Let me see here. Jesse, cat treats for the cat. Appreciate that, Jesse. Dude, why don't you get in your bed? Oh, and Youper, buying Cat a dinner or two. Youper. Thanks, Yoop Daddy. Dude, how about you just chill? You guys are getting so much cat butt tonight. So sexy. Okay, back on topic. Disney would not sell as many ears without APs. See, Pandora, you're absolutely right, because there are like items that have become sort of like culture items, like pins and cat ears and popcorn buckets and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I know people that are non-APs also buy those. Yeah, just walk across the keyboard, dude. We're not trying to I'm not trying to work so that I can buy you cat food. Those are the type of things that I know that people from out of town buy, but you got to admit that they really lean into the AP culture because it's so much easier to collect something if you have constant access to the park. So there's so many different things that they make that are all based on access, constant access. So I think you're absolutely right. OC Cheer Mommy's back. My joke about Chapek was real because he treated us like third class and then starts kissing butt. We spend money every time we go on food and pins. Yeah, I mean, same thing. Like I was in the park yesterday for a long time filming. I ate a couple of meals. They do hate though when you lease the pins. And so I'm probably going to get a pin tax at the end of the year. Will you be back to Europe? Maybe at some point. I would love to go back to Europe. That trip was really expensive. And so would definitely like to go back to Europe at some point, but not like a big YouTuber that's balling over here. So it might be a couple years or so, but definitely going to try to go to Japan when my main channel, Hey Brickey, hits 100,000. And I have a video coming out this Saturday on the main channel. So it's been fun. I realized yesterday that I just got back from New York a week ago. So yeah, been really kicking ass the last week on getting everything back up and running. And it's felt good just to be back to work. Jesse says, who would buy the exclusive merchandise without annual pass? Exactly. I mean, I do know that, ticketed people buy some of that stuff, but they can't buy nearly as much as the APs do. Jesse of Interest says, I went to Germany this weekend. What? Yeah, the pin tax, Vinton. Disney's realized that, I've found the loophole and that I just bought one pin and then I owned them all. So I'm assuming I'm going to get hit with the pin tax. Jay Harris. Thank you, bud. There you go. Lay down. Jay Harris says, have you gone to Porto's yet? I have not gone to Porto's yet. That was something I was going to be doing last month, and then life kind of changed last month. So that will be something that I will definitely be doing in a soon time. See, just laying down on this end is such a nice thing to do. There's so much more space for you there. There's no keyboard. I bought you this bed. AP's buying all the popcorn buckets, all the pens. Absolutely. The Buena Point 1 by Knots is exactly what Downtown Disney will be. Outside queue, pipe music, theming, go and get a croquette on me. Well, thank you so much. I am going to be going there, but I have an idea about making a fun Porto's video. So we'll see when I fit that into the schedule. Right now, though, I'm just kind of focusing on crushing the Disneyland and getting caught back up. Jay Cool. I only get to Disneyland once every 2 years. We don't buy much merch, but eat every meal in the parks. Yeah, I mean, I'm way more of an eater than a merch guy. Like, I've only bought one pen, newsflash, traded it 11 times. I'm about $1.41 a pen. Who's counting? Just me. But yeah, I mean, there's something about going there, even if you're just buying bottles of water. I mean, the markups are so great. Cat hates ceiling fans. So whenever you see him staring up at the ceiling, that's him trying to make sure that the ceiling fan's not going to try to kill him, even though the ceiling fan has been here the entire time he's lived in our house. JT Kell, if you get a chance, you can always head up to the OG Portos in LA. Okay, I'll tell you what my Portos plan was, okay? But you guys don't tell the rest of these people on YouTube. My plan was to try to go to every Portos in one day. Like, rope drop one at opening and try to go to all the locations, buying one item at each Portos and seeing could I go to all of them in one day because of proximity, LA traffic, and their popularity of long lines. Can it be done? Can I be Porthos? Thank you, Jay Harris, for keeping the secret. I appreciate that. Thought you guys would enjoy that challenge. Everybody likes a good challenge. And it'd also be fun. Like, I've never been to a Portos, and today I'm going to go to all of them. Hope I like it as I drive all around town. People are debating on what the OG one is. Some saying Burbank is the OG. Will there be a car concert? Oh, like a little car karaoke in between driving? JSR Doan says, I don't even know what Portos is. Portos is a local bakery that also makes sandwiches and various different items. And Portos is coming to the Disneyland Resort. They teased this going back to D23 2022. And finally, just early in this year, they finally got rid of La Brea Bakery, and they bulldozed out that building. And so they're building a Portos at the very edge of where Downtown Disney starts, and the building's going to be massive. They're a very, very popular eatery in Southern California. Not one in Long Beach, so I've never been to one. I also don't tend to go to places that have super long lines and all that stuff. Like, I save all my lining up for Disneyland. But yeah, that's what a Portos is. Oh, the OG Portos was in Silver Lake, and they closed in 1982 when they outgrew it. But like everything in Silver Lake, they also got too cool for it. Hey, Danish SD, I'm kicking you out of here. He says, I'm going to tell a random person on the street. I'm going to put you in. Can I put you in timeout? I'm putting you in timeout. Danish is, I'm putting you in timeout for 10 seconds for you to learn your lesson. You're in timeout for 10 seconds, Danish, for that threat. Maybe you'll reflect, young man, on your attitude of sharing all of our secrets with strangers on the street. Will you be going back to Cantino now that the construction is done? I am in May going to Palm Springs, and there will be a Palm Springs week on the Brickey vlog where I'm going to do as much Disney stuff as I can out in Palm Springs. So one of those things will be to go to Cantino. Now, I don't know if it'll be fun this time because now that it's a real thing, they probably won't let me in, but I will go there and I will remember the time that maybe you were part of. How many people was there in that live stream? Like 50 people, 30 people, the original 33 or whatever, when I did the live stream where I walked the entire edge of Cantino in the middle of the summer heat. That was a wild day. Oh, JS Ardon just gave out vlog memberships. Now, thank you so much for gifting those. I want to let everybody know how this works. When you gift a channel membership, it's randomized. So JS Ardon didn't pick those. I didn't pick those. YouTube randomly picked them. And they normally pick people that they think support the channel the most. So thank you so much. That was very kind of you. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, and I was singing Wilson Phillips, Hold On, which was great. Yeah, Jesse Adventure was there. Yes, Palm. Oh, is it going to chime every time? Can I turn that off? Let's see. If it's going to chime every time that person becomes a member. And it still doesn't even want to turn it off. So apologies. Jesse was there watching that. Have you done a STR video? I don't know what STR stands for. Yeah, the dinosaurs going crazy. JSR, do not apologize. We are saluting our new members. I don't want people to think this is a negative thing. This is a positive thing. Go, Dino, go. Go, Dino, go. Welcome, ISO Bell. Will you take the gondola? Lobo, Sam Hain has become a member. Welcome aboard. Smoke Tree Ranch. Yes. I mean, I can't get in. There's Onaka Cargo. Welcome aboard. There are a lot of things that are Disney related in Palm Springs that you don't have access to. But I'm going to look them up and see what we can get into. Like maybe I'll just do a day of like, there's where Walt's house was. There's Smoke Tree Ranch. There's Cotino. Can't really get into them, but we'll see what we can get into. But yeah, I'm just planning right now Palm Springs week. I love Palm Springs. Love it. Not members, friends. Joe knows what's up. All right, so with our remaining time that we have left tonight, Jay Harris, what's that STR video? I need to know what that is. STR. Smoke Tree Ranch. That's what it is. No, I haven't done a Smoke Tree Ranch. That's a pretty tight network, the Smoke Tree Ranch. Oh, JSR2D2. I'm from Coachella. Let me know if you need any advice or have questions. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I figured it out. You know, a little bit slow, but I get there. I figured it out. I got it. I've never taken the gondola. I've thought about taking the gondola before. Maybe this will give me a good reason to prioritize that. But yeah, definitely excited in May doing a Palm Springs week. Super excited about that. Cat is just crashed out on the floor. Like, why won't he lay in his bed? Why does he have to lay on the floor? Such a maniac. Such a maniac. Well, friends, I hope you had fun with our live stream. I want to let you guys know that next week there will be 2 live streams as I'm adjusting my schedule, trying to come up with a good production schedule. Oh, thank you, Kayleen. Kayleen sneaking one in. Appreciate that, bud. Nice to see you. We'll be doing. Be warned that the Palm Springs aerial tramway swings. Oh, is it? Is it like the Mickey Fun Wheel? Does it swing that much? Smoke Tree Ranch area is home to an endangered species of the beetle. So maybe if I hold the beetle hostage, they'll give me a tour to the Smoke Tree Ranch. You think that's how it works? Yeah, I mean, you guys are right. Pandora, escape for the day. If you question cat logic, if you argue with a fool, who becomes the fool, right? Isn't that the way that it works? Jester Don, do you think OpenAI or Sora collapsed from Disney pulling out or the other way around? I think, man, my thought on AI and all that stuff is very complicated. Oh, look who's back, baby. Get ready for some sweet cat butt. I'll tell it to you as quickly as I can. But here's my feeling on AI through storytelling. Damn, can I do this quick? I'll try to do it quick. But you guys got to act surprised if I ever do this. These are hair ties. I buy them by the 1,000, and I use these to put all my cables. You take your cable, you wrap it up in a hair tie, and then you don't have nuts. My man loves the hair ties. Here it is. Here it is, you little bitch. Come on. Loves the hair ties. All right, here's my thought on AI, Sora, and Disney. I was one of the only creators that thought that that's actually a good play for Disney. And I'll tell you why. And this is going to make some people upset, but if you really kind of think about it, at least maybe see it from our perspective, it might make sense even if you don't agree with it. When we were kids, we played with action figures. And the action figure went wherever we wanted it to go. And the only limits we had were our imaginations and what action figures our parents would buy for us. Using characters in the AI ecosystem is just like playing with an action figure, except for this time you're able to give it prompts and you're able to make it act out whatever your fantasy is. With lots of guide rails and guiding, they can make sure that they can't, show their buttholes and do weird stuff. But it gives a next generation of fans a way of play that's not too different than the way that we played, just with a different technology. But this different technology does something interesting. It gives data back to the IP owner. So when I play with my G.I. Joes, Hasbro only knew which G.I. Joes I bought, but they didn't know what I did with them. But now the companies have the availability to be like, what do people want to see Anna and Elsa do? And if there's trends that come about or lots of different people that don't know each other are putting Anna and Elsa through similar, missions or adventures, then it becomes sort of a thought cloud of like, these are different trends that people want from these different characters. So therefore it almost becomes like the audience in a way kind of gets to program what's coming next. So I can see a way where with guardrails, all of this is actually a beautiful thing. And here's the thing. No animator or artist is losing a job. It takes an animator or an artist to create Anna and Elsa, but it took a animator and a sculptor to make my Snake Eyes. But when I played with Snake Eyes, nobody got a royalty because I bought the toy and I played with it. Disney would indeed be collecting a royalty on these type of play options, but nobody's losing a job because nobody was ever going to get hired to do that. So saying that artists are losing their job as an artist and as a designer is completely ridiculous. In fact, if you are a character designer, you should be excited about people using AI to play with your characters, because now there's a new immersive way for people to fall even more in love with that character. But it's your job as the artist to keep giving them new backgrounds, new sort of like overall like missions or challenges, new characters, new ways to sort of do things. So I have a very pro AI perspective on all of that stuff. And I know people want everybody to be negative about it, but I just will always be honest with you. So that's kind of where I saw the Disney and Sora relationship going. There's one problem here, though, is AI is this amazing technology. It's a generational like transformation, and it's like Superman's dad told him: great responsibility, great actions, great power, all that stuff. Just like Superman's dad said. By the way, I always love saying that wrong because it just irritates so. So like Batman's dad said, with great power comes great responsibility. But the problem is that the best things happen when it's curated by culture, not by corporations. And so Disney and Sora is trying to force something that the technology is not ready to do yet, and people haven't found a comfortability with. So the forcing of it, therefore, makes it a bad idea. I don't think the merger between OpenAI and Disney is gone. I just think that they've realized that that model isn't the right model, and they're going to keep messing around with it till they find the model. But you mark my word, you are not far away from going over to Disney Plus and Disney Plus having its own like YouTube ecosystem of user submitted content where it's their characters, their voices, their ecosystem, but the stories are navigated and told through prompts of the viewer. You are going to one day be able to sit down to your streaming software and be like, tonight I want to watch something in Star Wars. I want to see, I want to click on this like portal that's like the Millennium Falcon missions. There's all these different kind of options, all these different variables. You pick what you want to watch, and then you sit down and you watch an original program of the Millennium Falcon doing whatever it's doing. As long as you know that it's user generated and you're doing it for fun, and that it's not real people or it's not some sort of way to like fool you, as long as you know what you're signing up for, I don't see anything wrong with it. And as long as the top tier of the story is still being done by real actors, real illustrators, real writers, and real directors, as long as the original body of work is still done with humans, there is nothing wrong with the community playing with the action figures of the future. So, not a popular opinion, but that's the way I see it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. AI is a once in a generational tool. If you fold your arms and say that it sucks, that is your right. By all means, please feel free to exercise however you want to. But I, a lower middle class kid that has fought and scraped his entire life, I am not going to let this opportunity pass me by. I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and act like I'm too cool for it. I'm going to jump in, and I have jumped in. And I use AI a lot. I always have my original ideas, my original voice. I do not let it make anything new for me. I let it take functions and sort of facilitate it out. If you find a way to use it as a tool, you will make something. If you use it as a crutch, it will make you weaker. So that's my thought on it. Not a popular one. James Brown from the Sniper's Nest. Hair tie funds. All right. So that's kind of how I see that world. But there's lots of people that see lots of different things. And I'm not blinded that it's a magic bullet that's going to fix everything, but I do see, as somebody who's worked really, really hard their whole life, I am using it as a moment of like, you know what? When I get done making the video, I can take the transcript, I can upload it. I don't have to write the description. I'm not a good like actual writer. That's extra time I don't need to. So if I can have it take my descriptions and explain and create a model of like, this is what I want in my descriptions. I want them to lean heavily to SEO. I don't want to give away the story, but I want to tease what the story is. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I was never going to hire somebody I was never going to bring on a copywriter. I don't make that kind of money. And what that does is it gets me to that couch 20 minutes faster to be with Beth at the end of a 12-hour workday. I don't see that as a crime. The main channel has a video coming out this Saturday. Those videos take a lot of time. I've had a very, very crazy month with my father-in-law passed away, and there just wasn't time to get that done and everything else. So yes, the main channel is still active. It just had to take a break because of life. And you will see that the videos over there are going up in their production value. I had an idea to kind of like take it to the next level, and that started with the VIP video. And then life happened, and so the next video has been delayed, but I've been working on that video for 3 weeks, and it is scheduled to go up on this Saturday. So there you go. Thank you, Shoshana, for already saying that. I appreciate that. Green in the tattoos. It's probably just the way that I have my camera. Yeah, I'm not so close to the light. Maybe that's why the green is really popping, or it just could be like where I have a manual camera. So every time oh no, I have the camera on auto color correction. That's why the green in my tattoos is looking so bright tonight. But these are old tattoos. I mean, these are from the 90s. Yes, a little over 8K away from 100,000 on the main channel. Super excited to hit that benchmark. Super excited to go to Japan. Appreciate it. Yeah, this Saturday's video is about... Thank you, OC Cheer Mama. I appreciate that. This week's video, the Saturday's video, is about Fort Wilderness on Tom Sawyer Island. It has a very, very interesting past. It also says a lot about Disney's future. And it has kind of a very interesting fun fact about it that most people, I don't think, even know. So that's what I've been working on, and it's kind of more in that new documentary type style, with a little bit of like I'm hosting it from the park, but it's largely like documentary. So yeah, working on that the next couple of days, but also doing the daily vlog. Not as many hours to work on that, so it all takes time. All right, friends, this is where we part ways. Jay Harris says, really wish we could visit Fort Wilderness still. Why? It's already gone. I'm not going to go to D23 this year. I don't think I'm going to go. I think the hassle of like buying the ticket, I don't know. Probably just watch it from home. All right, friends. I know. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah. What do I got tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's video is about how Walt Disney Imagineering hates chairs, but Disneyland loves chairs. So tomorrow I bring to everybody the chair battle. The chair battle. RJW. Okay. Thank you to Dali, OC Cheer Mommy several times. Nathan, Remy, Jedi Sparky, Walken, Iron, Jesse, Uper, Jay Harris, Jay Sardone, Kayleen, James Brown, and RJW. Appreciate everybody for showing up tonight and having this conversation with me. Hope to see you at the parks real soon. If you see me, make sure you say hi and make sure we embark in a pin trade, because I've decided for my pin wrap up at the end of the year, not only will I show you every pin I've collected, but a photo of every person that I pin traded with. So if you want to be in that wrap up, make sure you do a pin trade with me when you see me in the parks. All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow when I bring to you not the Infinity Wars, but the chair wars. And the chair wars are so real.